Hey, hello, welcome. This is the Liverpool Community Podcast with me, your host, Phil Beale. And today we have somebody who could be rightly called a woman in music. She's currently attending the Women in Music course here at the Academy. And she's got a really interesting story to tell, actually, although she disputes it. But I'd like to welcome, along with me, Laura Griffiths to Big Condo Academy Studios. And
Hi.
Liverpool Community Podcast. So welcome, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So I believe this is your first ever podcast?
Yeah, I've never done one before. Thanks for being my first.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome, no. And considering you've got quite a background in music and musical performance, I'm quite surprised by that, actually, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an opportunity for you to tell the world about who you are, isn't it? So you're attending the Eleanor Rathbone Women in Music course at the Academy here.
Yeah.
And so how long have you been attending there for?
I think it's been about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, can't remember.
Yeah, how have you been finding it?
I love it. I'm so grateful for the opportunity because women are underrepresented in the music industry. I think Roy said something, just the organizer, he said something about like there's only like a very small percentage in the top 40 right now that are women.
Yes. Yeah. What prompted us, I think, to apply was the Brit Awards, the last Brit Awards, where they'd combined the male and the female categories because they didn't want to be sexist about it. And then when they announced the nominations for Best Artist, there were no women in the nominations.
I know, I watched it.
We were like, what is happening, you know? Aren't they aware what the heck is going on, you know? So that's what prompted us, I think, to make this year we're just completing now, largely dedicated to representing women in the creative arts in Liverpool. So that's why we applied to Eleanor Rathbone on that basis, and they were all for it, and they said yes, we will support it. So thanks to them as well. Thanks to Eleanor Rathbone and Charitable Trust. Absolutely. But for yourself, then, you've got a really interesting, fascinating musical background.
Thanks.
We also chat before we came on camera. So tell us a bit about your family background and your musical heritage.
Yeah, so I'm half Irish, and my granddad was an opera singer, and he was like the Irish one. So when he died, we all went to this place in Liverpool called the Irish Centre.
Right.
My nan took us, like all the grandkids, and we started to learn all the instruments.
How old at that point?
I was 6, so I learnt my first instrument when I was 6, the tin whistle.
Fantastic.
And then I played the banjo as well at 9.
Yeah.
And it was very much like competition based, so we would just train to do
like
competition. Yeah. And you would compete against like all of Britain, and then once you got through that stage, you would do the world. And I got through to the world one time. I didn't win it, but I was like proud.
Amazing, yeah. Was that with the tin whistle?
That was with singing, actually. I'm not that good on the instruments, but it's fun. Like I still keep up with it now. Yeah. I go to like a little session, and we all just get together and play every other week. So
traditional Irish music. Have you been over to Ireland at all to do the same sort of thing?
Yeah, obviously to do the world competition we went to Ireland. It was in Ennis, I think. But yeah, I've done, obviously because my family live there, I go for like weddings and stuff, but I've done a gig over there, like a festival last year, which was really good.
Was it? Yeah. Tell us about that then.
So it was my biggest audience that I've done. It was 13,000 people.
Wow.
I was quite nervous, but when I get on stage, I'm like, I feel at home, you know.
Yeah.
It's weird, like I'm so comfortable on stage.
That's wonderful. It's a real gift, actually. I think that's fantastic.
I feel like I'm just in my living room or something. Like I'm just like, you all right? 13,000 of you.
That's brilliant. That's incredible. So going back to your development sort of thing. So you were playing tin whistle from the age of about 6.
Six,
banjo
yeah.
after that. And but your main instrument became
the piano.
Piano, yeah.
So like, because it was very much competition based, I wanted to do something for me and like just for enjoyment, and I don't have to learn it for a reason. So I just started teaching myself piano off like YouTube videos.
Yeah, so you're self-taught in that.
Yeah,
respect.
yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So okay, so who were you listening to back then when you started playing piano? Who were your favourite artists? At the time?
Oh, they've not really changed, to be honest. Like
Right.
my influences then are still very much who they are now.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
like I think I used to listen to a lot of Etta James.
Oh,
actually,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Where did that come from?
I don't know. The soul.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather go blind. Is probably the most
Yeah,
famous songs
yeah,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
I love At Last
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And who else then? Who else do you listen to now that you love listening to? And
Christina Aguilera, Beyonce, Whitney.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the great, Mariah.
Yeah,
Celine.
yeah, absolutely. So is that kind of how you categorise your own music in terms of its overall sound, or
Not really.
tell
Like,
us more about that?
I'd say vocals maybe, because they're very much powerhouse vocals. I would consider myself like one of them, but the actual genre of music is more like bubblegum pop.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Whereas they tend to like stick to ballads and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a working musician now, aren't you?
Yeah,
you
I am.
do, how many gigs a year are you up to now, roughly?
Probably.
Ish.
Well, I do like 2 every weekend, so it is December though, so it's very busy. So maybe about 60 a year.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And what's the proportion in terms of those where you're maybe covering other artists' work or your own work, or roughly?
I'd probably say I do about 10 original. Well, I've only just started doing my originals this year,
Really?
like in
Yeah.
April. So
Yeah.
I do mainly do covers,
Yeah.
but it is my job.
Yeah.
I get paid to sing.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did it feel then for the first time setting up and performing a set of your own material for the first time?
It was scary. Like, I did it with Big Condo, actually. Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah. So yeah, I was doing like a little girl band project, which was fun. But then the first time I did it like on my own, it was scary, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Special, I should think, fairly special occasion. Yeah. And how many of those you say you've done now this year since then, roughly? About 10?
10 maybe, yeah.
Fantastic. And is that, I guess that's your ambition?
That's the goal, yeah.
So what about recordings and things like that? Have you got anything out there on Spotify?
No,
platforms?
I haven't released anything yet, but I will be in 2024.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really excited to release.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did you start writing rather than just covering?
So I mentioned this before. I thought everyone like just wrote songs as a kid. Clearly not.
What was it you said?
I was like,
You said obviously.
Obviously,
we
just-
chatted before, and obviously I was started writing.
Yeah.
songs about 8 years on, and I went, hang on a minute, that's not,
I thought that was normal, just like
not really.
silly little songs, you know. But clearly not. So yeah, I wrote my first song when I was about 8,
Yeah.
but it was not good. So
Yeah,
I think
okay.
I just, to get into the uni that I went to, you needed to have 3 songs written. So
right,
that's
okay.
when I started writing more seriously, when I was about 18.
Yeah. So that was Lipper.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the first song that you wrote was, what was that?
it was called Hurt.
At the age of 18?
Yeah.
And how did that go? I'm talking about the first song, but you obviously, that was 10 years into your
The
writing
first
career at that
proper
point.
song
Yeah, the
that I
first
wrote,
proper
yeah,
song,
like a proper structure and things. I wrote it because I'd just broken up with an ex,
Right.
and I was so angry, and I wrote it in about half an hour.
Fantastic. It's the best.
I think my most favourite songs I've written are the quickest songs I've written.
I read a lot into about songwriting because I'm passionate about it
Yeah.
myself, and I think a lot of people, obviously everybody's got different perspectives, but a lot of people say what you just said.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I mean, have you got some songs that you've been writing for 3 years now and can't finish off? Have you ever had that happen?
To be honest, I don't, like, I've got many, like, verses or choruses in, like, a notebook, but I never really go back to it. I feel like if it doesn't come to me, I'm just going to leave it.
That's interesting.
But the one that I'm releasing next year, I wrote it with my songwriting partner.
Right.
And we were just like...
So you do co-write?
Yeah, I prefer to do co-write, actually.
Yeah, how does that work then? Do you tend to write the lyrics and the melody, or...?
It depends, really. Yeah. I don't know. Every song that I write is different.
Yeah.
But we decided to challenge ourselves. Oh, let's set a timer and write a song in 15 minutes. And now I'm going to release it. Like, it was just really fun to write.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's virtually ready to go, is it, that one?
Yeah. I need a producer, so if anyone wants to hit me up, you know.
That's great, though. So 2024 could be the big year.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And how many songs have you got all together that you've written that you're happy with, are ready to go?
Oh.
You know, obviously to be recorded at some point, but that are ready to perform, let's say. How many have you got roughly?
I would say a whole album is ready.
Yeah, amazing.
I just need to find the right producer.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to name the song that's going to be released first off next year, or are you going to keep that in your pocket?
I think I'll tell you. It's called A-Grade Heartbreaker.
A-Grade Heartbreaker?
Yeah. That's the 15-minute wonder.
That's amazing. So was that a story song, or was it autobiographical?
No, it's literally made up. It's not about anyone. I was just like, oh, let's write about this, and then it turned into A-Grade Heartbreaker.
Fantastic, yeah. So let's just go back slightly then to we mentioned Lipper a minute ago. Mm-hmm. So tell us about that experience, just so the audience knows
what
Lipper's about. It's Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, for those who don't know.
Yeah. I attended Lipper from 2018 to this year. Right. Just graduated, and it was the best time ever. Like, I literally love it so much. I think because in school I didn't like it that much. Like, I didn't really vibe. Yeah, and then when I got to Lipper, I was just like, this is my happy place. You know what I mean? That's fabulous.
So what course did you study there?
It was songwriting and performance.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And tell us a bit about the highlights of that experience over several years.
Oh, wow.
That's like quite a few 5-year courses.
Yeah.
That covered lockdown as well, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, so I took a gap year in the middle because I was just ill. Oh, I just needed to take time to for myself. But yeah, my highlight probably would be near the end when I did a whole set of my own songs. It was 40-minute set. Wow. And I look back to the person I was before Lipper, and I was like, oh my God, like, I need to write 3 songs to get in. And now I'm doing something that I'm proud of. Like, I produced 2 of the songs that I even performed, which is insane because when I went to Lipper, I didn't even know how to turn the computer on.
Yeah.
And now I can produce music and write and perform.
Transformative then.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing,
yeah.
So talk a bit about the writing process from your own perspective in terms of, how can I put it? You obviously release your emotions via your music, don't we? Everybody that writes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How would you say writing impacts on your own wellness?
I think it really helps. Like, I just wrote a song yesterday, which is very personal, like probably one of the most personal songs I've ever written. And I was just like crying writing it, but I feel like with creatives, we're so lucky to have this outlet to let things out and create something like beautiful out of the pain, what we're going through.
Absolutely right. And that's a great lesson for anybody out there that maybe has never even thought of trying it even, and you don't necessarily have to
or write a poem or anything. Like,
that's right. poetry is where a lot of us start, I think.
Yeah.
And that's just wonderful in terms of expressing your inner feelings, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I think once it's down on paper, it almost becomes an entity of its own then.
Yeah.
It gives you some
and it's kind of like,
freedom.
I can let that go now.
That's right, yeah, isn't that right? Yeah, I totally agree with that. So, okay, well, it's an amazing story so far. A grandfather as an opera singer, you know, starting out at 6 years old in the Irish scene primarily.
Yeah.
And through to growing up and going to Lipper and writing your own material. Fascinating story. So, what's next for Laura Griffiths then? What's going to happen?
So obviously releasing my single in 2024. I'm hoping to release a few, maybe like 3. Yeah. Hope to be doing more bigger gigs, you know, like the festival in Ireland and more TV stuff. And
have you been on TV?
I have.
And here as well?
Yeah, I was on BBC Breakfast. I was on.
Wow.
Yeah, so more of them, please.
What was that to do with?
That was for Eurovision actually in Liverpool.
Really,
so
yeah.
Yeah,
fabulous.
Just like hyping up everyone and singing a few Eurovision classics.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this could be the year then, couldn't it? This could really be the Laura Griffiths year.
It will be.
Absolutely brilliant. So how do you feel about how's your first podcast gone, do you think, would you say?
I think it's gone good.
Yeah, I think it's gone good.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's been really relaxed and enjoyable,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. So how do we get hold of you? How do people, if they'd like to follow you, or have you got any music up on SoundCloud or anything like that?
Well, it's private, so nobody's hearing that.
Nothing's out there. But they obviously want to follow you on the socials, so how do they get hold of you?
So it's I am Laura Griffiths on Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter or X or whatever. It's I am Laura Griff, because she wouldn't let me have enough characters.
Fantastic. So well done on your first podcast.
Thanks.
You did a great job. It's been fascinating talking to you. I wish you all the luck with your career.
Thank you so much.
I hope that the course, you know, the Eleanor Rathbone course, just to bring it back round to that really. Hope that helps you again. You know.
Definitely.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's been great so far.
Yeah, it's been great to meet you. And
lovely.
we'll see you again. Absolutely. We're going to do some more work together today. I think so. That's really good. So that's been a fascinating conversation there with Laura Griffiths, and thanks ever so much for tuning in. If you like what you're hearing, then hit the bell and subscribe. This is the Liverpool Community Podcast. I've been Phil Beale, and for now, over and out.